Peter and Jessica's paths crossed at university, a place bustling with ideas and dreams. Amidst juggling classes and late-night study sessions, they discovered they both held a vision bigger than themselves, a future where financial stress wouldn't keep them up at night. Their connection deepened as they shared aspirations of breaking free from the paycheck-to-paycheck grind that many young adults find themselves trapped in. It wasn't just about having more money. It was about crafting a life with freedom and possibility at its core. In those early days, Peter and Jessica faced typical financial hurdles. College loans, part-time jobs, and the simple realities of living costs meant their budget was always tight. But instead of being discouraged, they decided to tackle these obstacles head-on together. Setting shared financial goals became their compass. They talked for hours about what they wanted their future to look like, imagining everything from owning a cozy home to traveling the world. Agreeing on these goals created unity and made the journey to achieve them feel like a collaborative adventure. If you're nodding along with Peter and Jessica's story, here's a tip. Start by having open money conversations with your partner. Align on what you both value in life and plan for small wins along the way. It's not just about reaching the destination, it's about growing and learning together as you walk the path. Unpacking paycheck to paycheck. Living paycheck to paycheck can feel like running on a treadmill. You keep moving but never progress. It's a common state for many young professionals, and Peter and Jessica weren't the exception. This familiar struggle was their reality in the beginning, as they tried to stretch each dollar to its fullest potential. Both of them learned quickly that consistently running out of money before their next check arrived wasn't sustainable. The initial step involved defining what living paycheck to paycheck meant for them, recognizing that it was more than just a financial issue. It was a lifestyle pattern. By openly discussing their financial status, Peter and Jessica embarked on a personal financial assessment. They closely examined their income streams, spending habits, and any debt lurking in the background. This honest evaluation process was crucial in laying out a clear path to move forward. Noticing patterns in how they spent money meant figuring out where they could make adjustments. For them, this wasn't about depriving themselves of what they enjoyed. It was about prioritizing their spending on necessities and saving for their bigger dreams. Here's a nugget of advice for those in a similar spot. Conduct a reality check. Track all your expenses for a month and categorize them. It uncovers spending habits you might not even realize you had, and is the first step toward financial awareness and eventual freedom. Just like Peter and Jessica did, taking stock of where you stand financially equips you to make informed decisions going forward. Laying the foundation, smart saving habits. To break the cycle of financial insecurity, Peter and Jessica knew they had to up their savings game. Creating a functional budget was the first step. Instead of a rigid framework, they designed a flexible plan that balanced saving with enjoying life. It wasn't about pinching every penny, but making every dollar work for them. They set aside money for an emergency fund, prioritizing peace of mind for both expected and unexpected events. It meant sometimes skipping on small luxuries, but knowing they had a safety net brought immense relief. Avoiding lifestyle inflation was a huge part of keeping their financial goals on track. Even as they moved up from part-time gigs to more stable jobs, they resisted the urge to significantly elevate their spending. Whatever extra cash they found was often funneled into their savings or investments. A piece of advice for those working on similar goals: start small, but be consistent with your savings. Automate where you can so that saving isn't a sporadic concern, but a seamless part of your routine. Manage your finances in a way that aligns with your personal happiness, just like Peter and Jessica managed to do. Investment beginnings, education, and experiments. Taking their financial empowerment to the next level, Peter and Jessica delved into the world of investments. The vast landscape of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and more seemed daunting, but they realized early on that education was their ally. They dove into learning everything they could about investing, reading books, attending workshops, and even seeking advice from experienced investors. They didn't rush in without knowing the risks and rewards. Every investment decision was backed by thorough research. Peter and Jessica started small, purchasing a few stocks to test the waters. With each choice, they embraced the learning process, noting what worked and what didn't. Their early experiences were peppered with a few losses, but each setback was treated as a valuable lesson rather than a deterrent. Their investment journey taught them to balance bravery with caution. They didn't need to have a massive portfolio from the get-go, but building it meant consistently educating themselves while taking calculated risks. For those eager to start investing, remember you don't need to be an expert from day one. Dive into credible resources, experiment carefully, and learn from each step you take. Flexibility and patience are your allies, ensuring you remain resilient just as Peter and Jessica did. Trend-setting strategies, diversifying their portfolios. Their confidence grew. Peter and Jessica knew that putting all their eggs in one basket wasn't a smart move. Diversification became their guiding principle, helping them manage risk while optimizing returns. They explored new territory, adding real estate to their investment portfolio. This provided not just financial gains, but also a fresh insight into property management and market dynamics. Real estate became a rewarding challenge that diversified their income beyond traditional investments. The thrill of new investment opportunities led them to alternative assets as well. Considering everything from commodities to peer-to-peer lending, they broadened their horizon while keeping calculated risk in check. This cautious but adventurous strategy set them apart and cushioned their portfolio against the unpredictability of market fluctuations. Through market ups and downs, Peter and Jessica learned to stay the course, not swayed by the roller coaster of market emotions. Their commitment to diversification showed them how patience and steady growth go hand in hand. For folks aiming to diversify their portfolio, start by assessing your risk appetite and financial goals. Explore options like Peter and Jessica did, but tailor them to what suits you personally. With a mix of asset classes in your arsenal, you prepare yourself better for any financial tides that might come your way. Overcoming setbacks. Learning from failures, no journey is without its bumps, and Peter and Jessica hit a few along the way. They made some investment decisions that didn't pan out as expected, facing losses that stung more than they anticipated. Failures became incredible teachers. Instead of letting setbacks derail their plans, they famously used each misstep as a nudge to refine their strategies. With every financial loss, they took a step back, evaluated the situation, and adjusted their approach. The process solidified their partnership, bringing them closer together in their shared goals. When faced with a downturn, they learned not to act impulsively. They found wisdom in patience, staying calm rather than making rash moves. Whether it was market volatility or a poorly timed investment, Peter and Jessica learned that resilience is key. These experiences also taught them to celebrate small victories and not let failures overshadow their progress. Keeping their long-term vision in sight, they adapted with every challenge, becoming wiser investors with every turn. For those navigating the choppy waters of financial setbacks, remember that every mistake is an opportunity to gather insight. Maintain your focus and don't let one bad call erode your confidence. Develop a system to learn from each error just like Peter and Jessica did, turning lessons into stepping stones for future success. The pinnacle of success, becoming independently wealthy. Hitting those sweet milestones of financial independence wasn't something that happened overnight for Peter and Jessica. It was a journey crafted out of patience, strategic planning, and continual learning. They reached a point where their investments and savings generated enough passive income to cover their lifestyle. Talk about financial freedom! These wins weren't just numbers on a screen. They were the tangible results of years of smart money choices and relentless effort. Peter and Jessica savored achieving each milestone with quiet celebrations and thoughtful reflection on how far they'd come. Exiting the day-to-day grind of traditional employment felt like a dream turned reality. It wasn't about ditching responsibilities, but choosing ones that resonated more with what they valued. Their wealth gave them the luxury of choice in how they spent their days, investing in passions they previously could only dream about. For anyone dreaming of reaching financial independence, understand that the path is paved with small, consistent steps. Investing wisely, saving diligently, and learning relentlessly remains at the core of building wealth that lasts. Keep your eyes set on the prize, just as Peter and Jessica did, and remember every little progress you make is a step closer to that ultimate freedom. Navigating the emotional and relational terrain, financial decisions for Peter and Jessica were more than just number games. Emotional undercurrents ran deep, affecting their relationship dynamic. As they navigated financial terrain together, they realized how crucial transparency and communication were. Money talks that started off tense evolved into pivotal conversations, shaping the emotional synergy between them. They learned to appreciate each other's strengths and unique views on money, turning differences into an advantage. Balancing goals with personal time became their juggling act. Pursuing financial freedom demanded dedication, but they made sure not to let it consume their personal lives. Scheduling time for fun and relaxation was their way of maintaining joy throughout the journey. Their relationship evolved with every financial milestone. They discovered that while shared goals held them together, it was the emotional support and understanding that truly cemented their bond. For those on a similar path, never underestimate the power of communication. The financial journey is as much about personal growth as it is about numbers. Make room for each other's feelings and keep the connection vibrant, just like Peter and Jessica did. Paying it forward. Sharing their journey and wisdom, Peter and Jessica's triumph over financial limitations wasn't just a personal victory. They found immense satisfaction in sharing their journey and the wealth of knowledge they'd gained along the way. By embracing the roles of mentors, they began helping others dream bigger and plan strategically. They authored resources that broke down complex financial concepts into relatable chunks, drawing from their own experiences. Organizing workshops and community events, they engaged with others yearning for financial freedom, offering guidance and practical advice. Emphasizing financial literacy became their cause. They understood that empowering the next gen with financial knowledge could radically transform futures. Their community efforts echoed their belief that informed choices lead to empowered lives. Reflecting on their journey, Peter and Jessica acknowledged that their growth wasn't just financial. It was marked by personal development, stronger relationships, and a commitment to helping others thrive. For those looking to leave a positive impact, consider sharing what you know. Whether it's writing, teaching, or casual conversations, your experience is Their story ends and now yours begins.